Hello guys, so welcome back to Rain's Academy. My name is Vishal. In this video, let's have a look on 3-point light setup in Blender software. This scene was downloaded from 3drender.com. I'll show you how to import that model in Blender and then set up the lighting for it and set up the camera for it. Without waiting further, let's get started into the video. So let's get started. For that, first I'll be importing the model into this particular scene. Right now I've got a cube which is almost 1 meter of size in all the sides. So I'm going to put this scene within that box or somewhere close to that, which almost makes up a table with 1 meter or so size. So what I'm going to do is I'll just choose the file menu and then go to the import and then choose the wavefront obj file, and I'll just select the file which is already downloaded and then open it up. And you should be able to see this object is way too much. I choose the scale tool by pressing S on the keyboard and then drag it like that. Once I just scale it to the size of this particular cube, which is almost 1 meter in wide, maybe I can slightly put it a little bit bigger so that it would span somewhere around 1 meter to 2 meters in between that. So I'm going to delete that cube, and then you should be able to see the size of this particular object. So once that is done, you should be able to see this is one piece of object. So I'm going to select this model and then press tab so that I get into the component mode, and then press 3 to select the face component, and then press A on the keyboard so that you could able to select all the faces on this model. Then I go to the mesh and then choose separate and then separate it by the loose parts. So once that is done, I'm going to switch that edit mode to object mode by hitting tab. Now I should be able to see I've got all these models individually, separated, which was like one piece earlier. Then you should be able to see the whole list of objects in the outliner. So that's how you generally separate this one piece model, or you can individually select the components and do that separation also. Now once that is done, I need to set up my camera. So for that, you should be able to see you got a camera here. You can use this camera which is already there in the scene. There is no need of creating one more new camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just navigate my perspective view almost to close to this, and then once I bring at this particular level, and you should be able to see my camera is the active camera right now. I go to the view and then align view and then choose this align active camera to the view, which brings up my active camera to my perspective views view. So I can switch between perspective to camera. So once I'm in the perspective view, I can navigate around, and you should be able to see this thing happening here. So I can switch between my perspective view to the camera view, and then once that is done, I would like to create some lights, and I'm going to place those lights here. But before going into that, if I just switch my render view here to the lighting, viewport lighting, and then you should be able to see there is a light inside the outliner, which I can select and delete, and then you should see some basic lighting happening here. Now if I go to the render settings, I can switch this to render engine to cycles, and you should be able to see an ambient lighting effect, a gray color ambient light coming from all around, which can generally serve as the fill light. I just go to this option called world, and then here you got the background color and its strength. I'm going to switch off the strength to 0, by which it will completely switch the background color, which is right now gray color with a strength of 1 value. Now you should be able to see this total background has turned into complete dead black. Now I'm going to switch off this camera view to the perspective view, and then press Shift A and then go to the lights and then choose area light. So mostly I'll be choosing the area light in this light setup. So I just select the area light and then move it like that. Once that is done, I can just hold this yellow dot and then drag it so that I can able to position it as I wanted it to, and then I can start adjusting the light color and intensity, etc. So if you just select this light and then go to the power, I can switch the power to higher values where you can multiply the intensity of the light. You can also change the color of the light to something warm, and you should be able to see the size of the light is basically when it's very small, you should be able to see the shadows of this light is too sharp, and when I increase the value of this size, the light is becoming bigger and bigger, and then creating some soft shadows. And I can anytime switch off that viewport lighting here to um, put some I mean, you can avoid some unnecessary calculations while you're not doing anything. So I just want to switch back here, and this becomes our first light, which is the key light, I could say. Okay, so once that is done, I just press Shift A and then go to the light and then create a area light. Instead of creating area light and make it as of the fill light, I would like to select the world and then slightly add the ambience here. So I can select this color and slightly give a warm color, and then the strength can be kept very subtle way. So I'm putting a value of 0.3 or 0.4 and so on. And then you should be able to see you got that nice ambient blue fill coming on here. So you can anytime just select the light and then increase the intensity of it to whatever your requirement is. Okay, so that looks good, and the shadow region is nicely ambiently filled. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select or add one more light. I press Shift A, light, and then choose the area light here, and then I switch off the light, switch on the shading or the viewport shading mode, and then I'm going to move it like that, and then maybe I can move it way further and then drag it like that. So once that is done, it's sitting on the back of the scene, and then I can increase this intensity where it adds up a nice rim light onto the subject. I can select this and then make it a blue color, and then you can also select this light here and then make it more strong and then more saturated if you wanted. So how much amount of intensity you want from each light can be, it's very choice of what you're really looking for. Okay, so once that is done, I could generally render it into a sequence if I have an animated camera. And so for that, you can just go to render, and then you have render animation, and you also have render image. But before going into that, you can always go to the cycle settings, and then we have maximum samples of 4096. It's way too much. I'll just put it 1024, and then I would like to switch this to render image. Now once that is done, it brings up my render image window where I could get the rendering done, and you should be able to see the total 1024 samples which I have given is actually, you could see a slash where right now I'm getting 49 sample done for my image. Once the total sampling is done, you get a clean image there where you could go to the image, and then you can save as a copy and then publish it into your favorite editing software, or directly you can publish into any forums or so. So right now I've placed 3 or 2 lights basically physically. So one light is serving as the key light, which is in warm tone. Another one is serving as the rim light, the cool tone, and the ambient fill is serving as a fill light here, where I was using with this particular attribute here. So this is a very simple light setup what you're generally having. So explore this lighting setup. I have shared the link for this particular model. I mean, this was downloaded from 3drender.com. So you can find that in the link section, and then you can also give it a hands-on and then see how you got the result. If you have rendered and then you have made something out of it, if you're sharing in Instagram, please tag us on the Instagram, which I've shared in the description section. And I request you to just put a thank you message if you really like the video, and subscribe my channel for more such videos. Thank you very much.